Hello, it's me again. Welcome back to Pandora's Box. We're gonna do more bonus puzzles. That's right. The thing you were all definitely totally excited and waiting for. Anyway, we have 6 find and fills here to do, and that is the most numerous type of puzzle category we have left for these bonus puzzles. No, I don't want interactive instructions, so we will start here. This one doesn't seem too bad. Let's start with this shape here. I'm a little annoyed that we're starting off with the rotation already, but nice. I'm more okay with these rotational puzzles than I am with the rotating on a horizontal cylinder. I say gesturing with my hands as if you can see what I'm doing. Let's see. I'm not the type of YouTuber who has my face on camera at all times. I don't feel like that really. I don't feel like that's really adding anything. Like, people are here to watch me playing the game, yes, and I appreciate that. But they're also here to watch the game and not like my face off in a corner. What am I missing here? I'm not quite sure, to be honest. Let's do this. Let's do this shape. Get that out of the way. I mean, I say all that, and when like VTubing is a big thing nowadays, but like I don't know. I feel like that's a little different. Like if I could be nice. Aha. And it's still not correct. Do I need to take the sword out of it? Yeah, I need to take the sword out of it. Okay. That's what I was doing wrong there. Anyway, I would love to have like a VTuber model of my persona. That would be pretty fun. But I would still keep that to like to Twitch streams. I wouldn't oh, the puzzle's done. The Martyrdom of Saint Ursula and Her 10,000 Virgins by somebody. They forgot to put who, I guess. Alright, let me just mark that down. That's 1. And we have 5 of most of the other categories left, except for image holes. So let's go ahead and do another. Oh, god damn it, it's another cylinder. Ugh. What was I just talking about 2 minutes ago? Okay, but yeah, anyway. I would love to do, have a VTuber model of my persona. I think that would be fun, but I would still only use that for streaming. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't, put my model, in a corner in a YouTube video. There's nothing wrong with doing that, I should clarify. I watch YouTubers who do that, and that's cool. It just isn't something that I want to do, and that's also fine. I was, there we go. I was hoping that was going to be it, but it was not it. Let's see. There's actually not that many shapes here. But yeah, VTubing and, more fun stuff like that in general is kind of a ways off for me. I have a laptop right now, not a proper desktop. I've talked about this before. But, it doesn't allow for very, high-end, complicated things. So... Sorry, I got distracted trying to fill in that shape. So anything more fun like that is, I'm gonna have to wait a while before I can do that. I would need a proper desktop for that to work out. And who knows when I'm gonna be able to afford that? Not anytime soon, certainly. What am I missing about this? I'm doing this shape, I'm pretty sure. It seems like everything is in order, but clearly it isn't. Let's get everything, marked, I guess. Oh, this is a pain in my ass. Okay, this is... We might be here for a minute, folks. Strap in. I have voiced my grievances with this specific subcategory of puzzle before. Not with find and fills in general, but with the rotating, moving cylinder. Like, the whole point, or part of the point of, like, puzzle games is being able to, like, take your time and really focus on what you're looking at. And, like, not being able to focus on what you're looking at because the puzzle is constantly frickin' moving. I don't know, it kind of takes away from the joy of it a little bit, at least in my opinion. Maybe... I'm sure there's somebody out there who just absolutely loves these rotating find and fills, and, you know, good for them. Good for them, I'm happy for them. But, this is... God damn it. I really feel like I need to start with this dude. And get it immediately. Cool. Alright. That simplifies things a little bit. Seems like there's just two shapes here. We'll start with this one. And there we go. Peasants Dancing at a Village Wedding by Pieter Brueghel. Was it the elder or the younger? There were a couple of puzzles from paintings by him in the story mode, I'm pretty sure. Alright, that's 2 puzzles down, which leaves 4 find and fills. Let's do another Jesse's strips, why not? Alright, time to try and fill out the sky a little bit, I guess. Well, this looks like a... looks like we're looking at like a house in the middle of the woods. Let's see here. This is like a little chimney situation, a roof and a chimney type of deal. If I could just figure out where to get started on this, I will be situated rather well, I think. Nice. It's like, for this one, awesome. It seems fairly easy to tell the correct orientation of a piece. Like, this is pretty clearly, like, or it seems pretty clearly right side up, but it becomes tricky trying to identify where precisely it needs to go on the puzzle canvas, so to speak. But I will not let that deter me. Let's see. This is also a bit of a roof and chimney situation. Ah! Well, these 2 pieces overlap. That's handy to know. Let me just put those there for future reference. Okay. Yeah. Car passed by. Okay. That's not relevant to here. I thought it was my roommate pulling into the driveway. It is not. Let's see. Yeah. I talked about this in the previous video, but doing these puzzles without music is really weird. I went back and edited in music for that first video, and doing that was time-consuming because turns out it's not like trivially easy to make music tracks loop seamlessly. I had to kind of fake it to the best of my ability and utilize a little bit of crossfading, not much, just on like the tracks where it would have been was easier for me to get away with doing that. Got that out of the way. Strange, alright. Yeah, I don't know. I have a weird, I like video editing, but I also dislike it because it's, I don't know, usually most of the time it's pretty straight and nice. It's funny how I cut myself off there. It's usually pretty straightforward what I need to do, editing-wise, to fix or improve problems with a given video, but it's also usually like pretty time-consuming and tedious work. And, like, I don't mind that sort of thing. I'm a pretty patient person in general, but, you know, it has its ups and downs. She said extremely vaguely. There we go. I was wondering where that piece was meant to be. That almost lines up. I'm disappointed that it doesn't. There we go. Yeah, okay. Now that we've got sort of a foundation on this house structure, what a way to put that. That'll make filling in this puzzle a little bit easier, especially since I knew where those two went. Okay, we're getting somewhere. This isn't the worst Jesse Strips puzzle in the game. No, the toughest ones there were towards the end of the story playthrough, taking upwards of half an hour on one puzzle. Jesus Christ, that was a lot to deal with. But it's fine. I pulled through. Sweet. I pulled through pretty okay, I guess. What is that? Awesome. That's all the pieces on that slide dealt with. Move those, move that. Ah, there we go, okay. And that goes there. Yeah, this is coming together. Slowly, but it's coming together. There we go. Let's see. I've got more stuff to talk about, but I don't know, I kind of want to save it for other puzzles, since this one is relatively far along at this point. That's not to say that I won't be spending the next, like, 10 minutes on this. You never know, but, doing pretty okay at it, I think. Okay, that doesn't go there, I guess. Local bird sits in silence as she tries to solve puzzle. More at 11. Well, okay, that one. That one was pretty obvious, and I guess that one was pretty obvious too. Fair enough. I was about to complain about how difficult this was being on me, and then I just put several pieces in a row. So maybe I should actually be quiet for a second. You know, something about this painting reminds me of a Japanese progressive rock band called Mr. Sirius. They were active in like the late 80s and early 90s, and oh, that piece goes there. The cover of their second album, I think it was called Abandoned Dream, if I'm remembering correctly. If I'm not remembering correctly, I will put a pinned comment below this video correcting myself, because I am that much of a nerd about obscure prog rock nonsense. But the cover of the second album, I'm pretty sure it's called Barren Dream. It's a similar sort of scene, a nice, like, sort of pastoral house in the countryside, but also on that cover there's like a bird flying over the landscape, but also, like, the bird is a flute. Its main body is the flute, and then its wings are sheet music, so it's kind of surreal also. That's a great album, by the way. The first album I straight up do not remember the title of, but it's also pretty good. But I really like Barren Dream a lot. You should give it a listen if you haven't, and you enjoy obscure prog rock bands. It's a good time. But anyway, there we go. Gotta remember the pieces can overlap with the landscape. There we go. Okay, I've spent more time on this than I would have liked, but we're almost done. So I'll take what solace I can from that. Cool. I was hoping that would have happened for a third time in a row, but 'twas not to be, alas. This goes over here, right? Yeah. There we go. Been wondering about that one for a hot minute. As opposed to a cold minute, I guess. There we go, okay. We're almost done here. I think the remaining pieces are all in this slide. God, if this one is taking this long. I can't imagine the rotoscopes are going to go any better, because we still got several of those to get through. Oh boy. New drinking game. Take a shot every time I complain about a rotoscope, whether a specific puzzle or just like the concept of them. You will be plastered before the end of a video. House. Outskirts of Paris. Artist unknown. I like this painting though. It's got a nice vibe. It's pleasant, but also kind of mysterious, in my amateur opinion. Alright. Four more of those. Let's see. Yeah. We'll go ahead and do a rotoscope. Oh boy. 3 layers instead of 2. This'll... This is gonna take a minute. I might... There's a chance I might be, be more quiet than usual for this, for long stretches of these, as I try my hardest to concentrate on solving these puzzles, which vex me so much. Okay. I'm fairly certain all the outside pieces are out. I just need to find the correct orientation of them. And then we can go from there. If I have to spend like 20 or 30 minutes on this puzzle, that's going to be torture for me. But also, that'll be a lot of a simple editing process. Just like chop out the 20 minutes of dead air. I'm trying to keep it light to distract myself from the hell I find myself in. Let's see if I can find how the edges line up. That would make this easier on me. Let's try and get this over here. This is my exploration phase. That almost lines up. Alright, let's try and get this one over here. It seems like none of these line up, but obviously that's not correct, so I'm missing something, but I don't know what. Well, that goes there. Alright, let me just try and find this side, I guess. We'll worry about the other one later. No, that doesn't line up. That lines up, though. Okay. And that lines up, which means I know where the other 2 pieces go. This has to go on the other side, and that has to go here. Okay. I guess a nice thing about rotoscopes is that... Oh my god, yes! A nice thing about rotoscopes is that, like, when you start to figure things out, it can, like, really quickly snowball into a solved puzzle. And that is a nice feeling, I will admit. I'm not a fan of the steps that you have to take to get there, I suppose. But hey, I'm almost done with this puzzle. And that's a nice feeling. Everything is almost lined up except for this. If I could just use a hint token, I could solve this puzzle so fast. I'm fairly certain. Yeah, that goes there. I gotta get... Hold on. I'm thinking so hard right now. Ugh. This is so close. It's so close. I just need to switch these 2 and, you know, orient those correctly, which I just did. I just need to switch these 2. That's so unfair. I went really high-pitched there. I'm sorry. I didn't mean for that. I didn't mean to do that. I'm just... I'm so close, y'all. I can taste it. It tastes really weird. You're not supposed to lick art. Unless you are, because it's a performance piece. Or a weird modern avant-garde sort of deal. Okay, well now I've screwed this up a little bit more. Why do I do this to myself? I need to get this here and this here. But how do I do that? Is the question. Yeah, buddy, if I had an answer, I would have solved this puzzle already. But I haven't because I don't. At least you get to, at least you get to watch me struggle with nice music playing in the background because I will have edited that in. I am flailing about in otherwise total silence, save for the sounds of puzzle pieces. Excuse me, being moved. Yeah. These are in the correct orientation, but the wrong layer. I was so excited a few minutes ago when I got this outer layer. That was the easy part. I have learned to my own chagrin. And now I am trapped in a hell of my own making. Isn't that fun? There's got to be an easier way to do this. I keep being one piece away from having the second layer solved, and I keep not getting it, and it's frustrating me. Damn it! I almost had it. I psyched myself into having it for a second, but these two are in the wrong spot. Ah! Now they're in the right spot. Okay. Okay. We're good? We're good! The throne room at Tuileries. That, I definitely didn't pronounce that correctly. Artist unknown. Okay. Brings our puzzle solved count to 4. We got 4 of these left. Let's do an overlap. Okay, this seems simpler than what I was just dealing with. Oops. I say that and then immediately fail to place a correct piece, but I seem to be having an easier time of it now. So, let's see. Up until recently, I was playing a lot of Vampire Survivors. That game is really addicting and fun. If you want easy, steady dopamine hits, I recommend that game. But yeah, I've been going through the different DLCs that have been released for that game because I want to play the Ode to Castlevania DLC because I've heard really good things about it, and I've watched bits and pieces of it, and it seems really cool. But I haven't gotten there yet. I wanted to get through. I wanted to play through the other DLCs first. So I've been doing that, and I just wrapped up like a week ago, maybe a week and a half ago. I just wrapped up the Operation Guns expansion, which was the Contra crossover DLC. Now, I don't have a lot of experience with Contra. I have finished the original game on the NES with some judicious usage of save states and the Konami code. That game is tough as nails, and I have an appreciation for the soundtracks of Contra games in general, especially the Genesis game, the Hardcore. That game has just kick-ass, like, FM synth metal stylings. If you haven't listened to it before, highly recommend doing so. It rules. But the Operation Guns DLC, pretty fun, pretty good, I have to say. That foot was sideways, which was throwing me off there. You get a big, gigantic stage to play around on, and a bunch of characters to find and unlock. Which, speaking of, how come nobody told me about Newt? How come nobody told me about Newt Plissken? Nobody told me they put a hot lizard man in Contra. He's apparently from Contra Rebirth, which was one of a handful of games that Konami put out on WiiWare, and this puzzle is done. Wildfire and Jenkins in a Theatrical Pandemonium, or The Café de la Paix in all its glory, with It's Misspelled, by David Carey. Alright, that brings our puzzle count to 5. Halfway done. Let's see, let's do a focus point next. Right, so as I was saying, the Rebirth games were a series of reimaginings of old Konami games that they put out on the Wii eShop in the late aughts. It was Castlevania Adventure Rebirth, which was obviously a retake on the first Game Boy Castlevania game, and then there was Contra Rebirth, and then there was Gradius Rebirth. I think those three are the only three games that they did in that whole line, and by the way, those games were never re-released anywhere, so if you didn't happen to buy them while they were out, the Wii eShop has of course been closed down since then, so you can't legally get them anymore. Isn't that fun? Anyway, and like even if I'm sorry, I'm going on a soapbox about this, but even if those games weren't actually very good, I wouldn't know. I never got a chance to play any of them. Even so, it just sucks that like you just can't get those games anymore unless you pursue illicit means of acquisition. That was quick. A view of the Piazza del Campidoglio and the Coordinata, Rome. Artist unknown. I apologize for my struggling to pronounce things. We're up to 6 puzzles now. Let's see. I think we're down to 4 in each category. Let me just make sure. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. We're also down to 4 image holes, and we haven't done one of those yet, so let's go ahead and do that. I don't want interactive instructions. Shut up. Okay. Like always. Immediately get one wrong, I guess. Let me just restart. I know that goes here. There we go. I just wasn't clicking on the right spot. Okay. Let's find this person's head. I think I may have found this person's head. Speed that up a little bit. But yeah, that extended tangent was to say, Newt Plissken was in Contra Rebirth, and he's a hot lizard man, and he's in Vampire Survivors now. But yeah, Operation Guns was pretty fun, and I'm excited to eventually get to Ode to Castlevania, but I'm also holding off on getting it immediately because I know that if I start playing it now, I will not want to play anything else for however long it takes me to do everything in that, and it's apparently a pretty big DLC, so it'll take me a while. So I'm playing some other games that are in my Steam library that I haven't gotten around to yet before I dive into that. Speaking of which, one of those games... Ooh, I know where this person goes. Hold. There we go. Okay, now I just need to find this little dude. He's only little because of perspective, but I know. But anyway, one of the games I was playing until a couple days ago, unfortunately, is Aviary Attorney. That game came out a long time ago. It came out in like 2016, I think. I'm looking for this, by the way. And it's an adventure investigative lawyer simulator sort of game, kind of in the vein of Ace Attorney. I can't offer more on that comparison because I've never actually played an Ace Attorney game. But it's got some cool hooks. It's based on the art of an old artist named J.J. Granville, who I think was French, if I remember correctly. I might not be. I'll correct myself in that pinned comment I mentioned earlier if that's not the case. Is it this? No, it's not that bunch of nonsense there. Fair enough. But it uses his art for the art direction, and it also uses the music of Camille Saint-Saëns for the soundtrack. He was a French composer who was active in the late 1800s. And some of his music is pretty good. You might remember him for Danse Macabre, if you ever listened to that. But you play as a lawyer named J.J. Falcon and his assistant Sparrowson in 1840s France. And, you know, you solve cases, you collect evidence, you conduct trials, that whole sort of deal. The Ace Attorney thing. Oh, that's clever. But it's not a long game. I think there are 4 acts, and this puzzle's done. Preparation of Christ's Tomb. Artist unknown. Okay, that brings us up to 7. Let's do another rotoscope. If I get these out of the way, I won't have to worry about them later. These pieces look exceptionally blurry, which worries me. Well, I know where that goes. Alright. But anyway, I was enjoying that game. I had gotten... excuse me for a moment. Alright, I'm back. My roommate's cat was meowing to be let into my room. And I let her into my room, but that may have been a mistake, because I'm still recording. I'll cross that bridge when I get to it. I'm already at that bridge. I don't know why I said that. Anyway. God, where was I? Right, so I was enjoying Aviary Attorney. I had just finished the first act of 4, I think. It's not a very long game. But I'm told... I think there are some variations in one of the acts, possibly in Act 4, that lead to some replayability. Not a lot, but you know, some, which is nice for a game like that. Unfortunately, I ran into a bug. I was watching the start of Act 2 cutscene. Does this go here? I need to check. I think it does. Okay. I need to figure out how to get all the outer pieces lined up. Anyway, there's a bug in Aviary Attorney where, while watching the beginning of Act 2 cutscene, the game will just stop. It just hangs, and it doesn't progress any further. Like, there's a camera pan at the start of Act 2 down to the bottom of the frame before it moves to the next shot, and it just hangs once it gets to the bottom of the frame, and the game just stops. You can pause and you can like quit out, but that doesn't actually help. There's a skip cutscene function in the top corner that you can click for if you want to for whatever reason. But that doesn't work, and resetting the game doesn't work, and reloading the game doesn't work. Reloading your file doesn't work. As far as I know, this is just something that happens sometimes, and there's not anything you can do about it. And I looked into it, of course, because I wanted to get this fixed so I could continue playing the video game that I was enjoying. And there wasn't a lot of discussion about this, so apparently it wasn't a very common bug. But, Lilo, hush, I'm busy. But, I found a discussion page on the Steam community page about this game. A person, I don't remember what their username was, but they had the same problems that I was having. Like, hey, this cutscene hangs at the beginning of Act 2 and I can't progress the game anymore. And they got a reply from the developer of the game that's like, oh, that sounds really serious. We'll look into it. You'll never guess. That post was 9 years ago, around the time the game was new, and it apparently never got fixed. So I just can't progress through that video game anymore because the developers never fixed it. And like, the game got ported to the Switch, so presumably it would have been fixed so that it wouldn't affect that version, right? And since they responded to that guy, they knew it was a problem. They just never fixed it. And that sucks. That, like, honestly, that blows. I'm mad about it. I'm mad about it. I was enjoying that game, and now I can't play it because the developers just never got around to fixing a horrendous bug. and that annoys me. And it annoys me that I can't do anything about it either. And it seems like it wasn't a problem for all copies of the game. It just affects some people sometimes for unknown reasons, and I just happen to be one of those people, and that's not great. I just got a bad roll of dice there, I suppose. And I've been letting that story distract me from solving this whole time, but I think I'm almost done. There we go. Painting of Westminster Abbey. Artist unknown. Lilo, please, I'm busy. No! You can wait a goddamn minute until I finish recording this video. I'm sorry. Okay, let's see. Let's do another overlap. Okay, this one seems like it'll be a little more complicated. Not quite sure where to start with this one. And there's not a lot of... Ooh! Yeah, these could really go anywhere, and there's not a lot of... I haven't seen any pieces that have part of the outline in the background, so... That almost lines up. Not quite, though. There we go, okay. Finally got one I meant. My roommate's cat is meowing up a storm. Lilo, please, can you calm down for 5 minutes? I was relieved to discover while going back, while editing the previous video that you can't really hear Lilo's meowing in that one, and she was meowing a fair bit. So, it mostly just sounds like I'm talking to myself and occasionally yelling at somebody who wasn't there, but trust me, she's there, and she wants me to make damn sure that I'm aware of the fact that she's there. Lilo, I can't just have you in my lap while I'm solving this puzzle, okay? Can you please calm down? I think I need to let her back out. Hold on. Alright, I'm back. I'm gonna have to edit those pauses out. That's fine. It won't take very long to do. The pieces aren't very small here, which is good. The problem is telling where they're supposed to go. But I gotta figure it out, and figure it out I shall. Let's see, what else? What was I talking about? Video games I was playing, right. I've also been playing a lot of Digimon Story Cyber Sleuth, which has been a good time. I am almost, but not quite, 30 hours in. I've been putting in around a couple hours every play session. And it's been a good time. I don't have a whole lot of experience with Digimon as a whole. Oops. Thought for sure that would have gone there. Yeah, I don't have a whole lot of experience with Digimon. I remember watching some of, excuse me, the original anime when I was a kid. But not very much. And I also played a couple Digimon games, but never finished any of them. I played Digimon World 3 as a kid, and I got pretty far in it, but I never finished it, and I haven't revisited it since I played as a kid. From what I can tell, that game was apparently pretty grindy, and I just didn't notice when I was a kid, because that's not the sort of thing you notice as a kid. But, I don't know. I don't know if I would enjoy it as much on a revisit, so I'm kind of hesitant to do that, although maybe I will at some point. I also played some Digimon World 4 with my siblings. We got pretty far. I think we got to the final dungeon, but we just never finished it, unfortunately. And I tried starting it up by myself a couple of times, but it's just not as fun by yourself. That game is a lot more fun in co-op, you know? So yeah, I have a little bit of experience with Digimon, but I was always much more of a Pokemon kid, you know? Until I fell off of that later in life. But yeah, I've been playing this just because I picked it up a while ago because I heard good things, and I finally got around to playing it, and it's been a good time. I like it. It's got a good, satisfying game loop of like progressing the story and raising your Digimon and digivolving them, and sometimes de-digivolving them just to get them better stats. Because every time you either digivolve or de-digivolve one of your Digimon, get ready to be sick of the word digi, by the way. Every time you digivolve one of your dudes in either direction, it increases their stat cap a little bit, and sometimes their stat caps have to be at a certain threshold before you can digivolve them to a certain stage. Anyway, this is Necklaces and Bouquets Carried to the Deceased, from the tomb of Userhet, Sheikh Abd el Qurna, at the Valley of the Nobles. And that brings us up to 9. I think we will close out this video with another focus point. Anyway, it's been fun puzzling out how to like get your Digimon where you need to be, and also keeping track of a lot of different Digimon, because you can the party. I'm more used to Pokemon, where you can have 6 Pokemon in your party and then the rest go to storage. In Cyber Sleuth, you can have up to 11 Digimon in your active party, although I've never actually reached that point, because you have like what's basically a capacity point stat for how many Digimon you can keep in your party, and each Digimon takes up a certain amount of capacity. The most I've ever had in my party at once is like 8. And I'm getting to the point where I have a lot of higher level Digimon in my party, and like higher stages of evolution, and those naturally cost more points. So I'm fielding a party of like 6 right now, which again, I am more used to, but I would like to have more. But you can find like items, both in side quests and through the main story, that increase your capacity so you can carry more Digimon, which is nice. I'm still waiting on that to happen. It's been a hot minute since the last time it happened. But anyway, curious about where that goes. But yeah, it's been a good time. I don't remember the names of the Digimon that are in my active party right now. I would have to like be actively looking at the game, because again, I'm not nearly as familiar with Digimon as I am with Pokemon. So a lot of these are a mystery to me, but that's been part of the fun, honestly, is trying to like familiarize myself with what is essentially an entirely new, for me, system of like nomenclature and type advantages and disadvantages and stuff, and that's been pretty nice. And I would talk about it more, but like we're almost done with this puzzle, and I don't want to keep things going for longer than necessary. So after I finish here, I will maybe continue this later if I remember to. Okay, that one's in the right spot. Just gotta find where the rest of it lines up. That might be a little annoying. Lilo is being extremely insistent outside my bedroom door, and I will admit it is a little distressing, but I'm trying my best to ignore it so I can finish this puzzle and stop the recording so I can give her attention. But until then, I gotta... damn it, I gotta figure this out. See, like, this bit and this bit aren't quite the same enough, but this is 100% in the right spot. This bottom section is tricky. It's SSX Tricky for the Nintendo GameCube. There's a game I played a lot as a kid but never finished. I don't have a GameCube, or I would consider revisiting that. Hello, we're almost done here. Yes, there we go. The Dead with Their Family and Servants. Artist unknown. Alright, that's another 10 puzzles in the bag. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next batch of 10. Bye for now!